Yes, good afternoon, dear all students. In the last class, we are discussed about that important factors affecting on the rate of the reaction. There we discussed about the temperature effect. Generally, the temperature increases, the rate of the reaction will be increases. For every 10 degrees rising the temperature, the rate of the reaction will becomes double or triple. Okay, with the graphical representation also we are explained, dear students. So the effect of temperature, Arrhenius given one equation, that is K is equals to A into e to the power of minus EA by RT. So the Arrhenius equation we are discussed, and by using that Arrhenius equation at different temperatures, we are calculated that how to calculate the activation energy of a reaction. We are discussed. Later we discussed about that activated complex formation by using potential energy level diagram. Activated complex or transition state or reaction intermediate formation, how the reactants are converted into products by the formation of activated complex or transition state formation. We are explained by using potential energy level diagram. Okay, dear students, now in the today's class we'll discuss about that Arrhenius collision theory. Arrhenius collision theory we'll discuss. What is Arrhenius collision theory? So Arrhenius how explained that reactants are converted into products. Okay, so that is known as Arrhenius collision theory, that we will discuss in the today's class. Okay, dear students, according to Arrhenius theory, the reactant molecules, he considered that reactant molecules he has considered as a hard spheres. Like a sphere means like a cricket ball, like he considered as a hard spheres. Okay, so the reactant molecules he considered as a hard spheres. These reactant molecules, how they are converted into products, dear students, the reactant molecules collide with each other, means that is called as collisions. So collide with each other and forms one activated complex, and that is converted into products. So during these collisions, all collisions are not converted into products. Only the effective collisions are fruitful collisions. Whatever the reactant molecules undergoes effective collisions or fruitful collisions, those molecules only converted into products. Okay, dear students, now he considered reactant molecules as a hard spheres. These reactant molecules are collide with each other and forms an activated complex or transition state, then converted into products. Okay, dear students, now what is collision frequency? Collision frequency means, already I said, dear student, the reactant molecules are collide with each other, they undergoes collision with each other, because he considered the reactant molecules as a spheres. Then the collision frequency means the number of collisions takes place per second per unit volume. In unit volume, in 1 second time, how many collisions takes place in between the reactant molecules in a chemical reaction, in a reaction mixture, is known as a collision frequency. It is represented by Z. For example, you have to consider a bimolecular elementary reactions. Means bimolecular elementary reaction means the reactants are two molecules are present. Let A plus B converted into products is a bimolecular elementary reaction. For this reaction, rate of the reaction is expressed as rate is equals to, already we know that rate is equals to Z into AB, where Z is nothing but collision frequency. So ZAB means for AB reactant molecules, collision frequency is nothing but bimolecular collision frequency. ZAB into e to the power of minus EA by RT. Already we know that we are discussed about in Arrhenius equation, e to the power of minus EA by RT is nothing but the fraction of molecules, having equal or more than the activation energy. Okay, dear student, activation energy is represented by EA. Okay, so for bimolecular reactions, the rate is expressed in terms of collision frequency. The rate is equals to ZAB into e to the power of minus EA by RT. E to the power of minus EA by RT explains the fraction of molecules having equal or more than the activation energy. Okay, dear students. Now, already I said, while the reactant molecules are collide with each other, the all reactant molecules are not able to convert it into products. During that collisions, among that collisions, they will get the energy will be exchanged from the one reactant molecules to another reactant molecule. Some of the reactant molecules only getting activation energy. They are getting activation energy, and they are able to reach to the transition state. And they, after reaching the transition state, the reactant molecule should be in the proper orientation. Then they leads to the formation of products. That's why all collisions of reactant molecules are not able to convert it into products. So which reactant molecules are converted into products, dear student? The only effective collisions are fruitful collisions leads to formation of products, okay. Now these are the main important postulates of Arrhenius collision theory. Now, this is very, very important, dear students. Directly, they are asking in 2 marks question, explain what are the important factors leads to the formation of effective collisions. Write the important factors leads to the formation of effective collisions. Like this question, they are asking in 2 marks. Okay, dear students. Now, already I said, only effective collisions leads to the formation of products. So for the formation of effective collisions, what are the main important factors are present? So the main important factors are, there are 3 important factors are present, dear students. So in order to formation of effective collisions, the reactant molecules must have to achieve activation energy. They must have to achieve activation energy, and they must have to reach transition state energy. They must have to reach transition state energy. It is also known as threshold energy. It is also known as a threshold energy. Okay, dear student, the first point is the important factors for the formation of effective collisions. The reactant molecules must have to achieve activation energy, and the reactant molecules must should minimum amount of energy is required. That is known as a threshold energy. The reactant molecules must have required or must having minimum amount of energy is known as a threshold energy. And when they reach to the threshold energy state or activation energy state, they are achieved activation energy and they reach to the threshold energy state or transition energy state. After that, the molecules must should be in the proper orientation. Then the proper oriented reactant molecules only converted into products. If they are in improper orientation, the direction is not in the proper way, then does not forms the products, Okay, dear students. So the main important factor is the reactant molecules after achieving activation energy and reach to the threshold energy state or transition energy state, then the reactant molecule, among that which reactant molecules are present in the proper orientation, then they leads to the formation of product and leads to the forms products. Okay, dear students, let's see one example for the orientation. For example, formation of methyl alcohol. CH3OH. This CH3OH is formed from CH3Br, bromomethane or methyl bromide. How this CH3Br is converted into CH3OH, methyl alcohol? Let's see, dear student. This is the formula of methyl bromide or bromomethane. Okay, is the hydrogen atoms are present. It's very clear. Now it is converted into, when it is reacts with OH minus ions. This is the nucleophile, dear students. OH minus, it is a SN2 reaction, bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. This is the leaving group, then the Br minus, and here the carbon will get positive charge, then the OH minus will be attacked at carbon. If the leaving group and incoming the OH minus nucleophile both are in same direction, means does not forms product, because if both are coming in the same directions, means they will be Means what happens? They will mutual collision with each other and they does not forms the product. One is going in one way, another one is coming in opposite way, then that leads to formation of product. So the product is CH3OH plus Br minus. Okay, dear students, now I showed in that one is what is the proper direction and what is the improper direction or improper orientation. Now this OH minus, for example, this Br minus is going in this way, means is coming outside from left to right, and in the same direction the OH minus is also going on. The OH minus ion is also going on in the same direction, exactly opposite to the Br minus. If Br minus is coming in this way and OH minus is also coming exactly opposite to this, then both will touches, both will dash with each other and does not forms products, because it is called improper orientation. It is a improper orientation. Improper orientation does not forms the product. Now the Br minus is going towards the right side and OH minus is coming from the left side. Means both are in opposite direction and forms a transition state intermediate. Transition state intermediate. This is called transition state. Transition state intermediate. Okay, the Br minus is going outside in this direction and the OH minus is exactly opposite to the, means from back side it is attacking, front side Br minus is leaving, and the back side OH minus ion is coming. The OH minus ion is coming and Br minus is going on front side. Then both are not in the same opposite directions. Then forms product. This is called proper orientation. Proper orientation. Then forms product. Then forms a product. Okay, dear student, this is about orientation. So what are the main important factors affecting the important factors for the leads to the formation of products or formation of effective collisions? In order to formation of effective collisions, what are the main important factors are present? There are three important factors are present, dear students. One is the reactant molecules need to achieve or need to get activation energy. What are the reactant molecules are getting activation energy? Those reactant molecules are having minimum amount of energy or minimum processing energy, and they can easily reach to the threshold energy state or transition state. After reaching the transition state, the reactant molecules should be in the proper orientation, then they undergoes effective collisions and leads to formation of product. Okay, dear students. So based on this proper orientation, already Arrhenius first he proposed one rate constant or rate equation, that is the rate is equals to ZAB into e to the power of minus EA by RT he proposed. Okay, where ZAB is nothing but collision frequency. ZAB is nothing but collision frequency. After considering the proper orientation, then this equation becomes the rate or rate constant. The K is nothing but he introduced another factor that is known as probability factor or steric factor, that is called P. That is called P. Then the K is equals to P into ZAB. P into ZAB into e to the power of minus EA by RT. E to the power of minus EA by RT. So first he is introduced collision frequency or collision frequency constant introduced. For rate or rate constant is equals to ZAB into e to the power of minus EA by RT. After he considered that important factors affecting the formation of effective collisions. Based on that orientation concept, he introduced another factor. For example, steric factors means the reactant molecule, the incoming group and outgoing group both are in the opposite direction. Means what happens, steric repulsions will take place and the incoming nucleophile or incoming reagent cannot be attached to the reactant, then does not forms a new bonds and does not forms a product. That's why he considered that steric factors also. Then he introduced another factor that is known as probability factor or steric factor, that is represented by P. Then finally the K is equals to P into ZAB into e to the power of minus EA by RT he proposed. Then P into ZAB is considered as A. That A is called Arrhenius factor. Arrhenius factor or Arrhenius constant. A is called Arrhenius factor or Arrhenius constant. Finally the rate constant K is equals to A into E to the power of minus EA by RT is known as a Arrhenius equation. Is known as a Arrhenius equation. Arrhenius equation. Okay, dear student, already this equation we have discussed. This equation is derived by using collision theory. So finally the Arrhenius equation or rate constant K is equals to A into E to the power of minus EA by RT. Okay, dear students, these are the main important postulates regarding to the collision theory. Okay, yes. Let's see the next important concept is what is threshold energy. These definitions are very, very important. Threshold energy, activation energy. Based on this threshold energy and activation energy, what is rate of forward, forward reactions activation energy and rate of backward reaction activation energy. Based on the rate of forward reaction activation energy and rate of backward reaction activation energy, we can identify whether that the reaction is exothermic reactions or endothermic reactions. Delta H value we can calculate very easily. That formula also very, very important. Related objective questions also previously asked in a NEET and JEE examination. Okay, dear students, let's listen carefully. What is threshold energy? Threshold energy is represented by ET. Threshold energy is nothing but, already I said, the minimum amount of energy that the reactant molecules should possess in order to formation of products. In order to formation of products, the reactant molecule should having minimum amount of energy is known as a threshold energy. That energy should be it involves in effective collisions, then only it forms products. Okay, so the threshold energy is nothing but the minimum amount of energy that the reactant molecule should possess in order to formation of products, upon effective collisions. In effective collisions, to undergo effective collisions, how much amount of minimum energy required for the reactant molecules to reach the transition state or to reach the threshold energy state or to reach the activated complex state is known as a threshold energy, is represented by ET. Okay, dear students, let's see activation energy. What is activation energy? Now we'll discuss. So activation energy means, activation energy is nothing but is the minimum amount of extra energy. Already the reactant molecules having some amount of energy is present, that is known as energy of reactants. Now that already they have some amount of energy is present for reactant molecules, the reactant molecules need to reach the threshold energy state, okay, or transition state in order to form activated complex. That activated complex, the energy of reactants is known as a threshold energy. To reach the threshold energy, they require some extra energy is required. That extra energy, how they are getting? By undergoes collisions. Then the energy is transferred from one reactant to another reactant. Otherwise, we have to provide some external energy. That external energy is absorbed by the reactant molecules. Then they undergoes collisions. Then they're reaching to the threshold energy state. So the minimum amount of energy, extra energy required for the normal reactant molecules to reach the threshold energy state, to reach the ET state, is known as activation energy. So based on the definition, the activation energy is also we can define as the difference between the threshold energy minus the energy of reactants, because every reactant molecules have some minimum amount of energy is present. After that, they have some minimum amount of energy. For example, this is the reactant molecules are present. Okay, they have some energy is present. This is the energy, potential energy we are taking on a y-axis. Now they have some energy is present. It is ER. This is the activated complex. This at this state the energy is known as threshold energy. Okay, to reach the threshold energy, they require some extra energy. That extra energy, if they are gained, how much extra energy the reactant molecules are gaining, that is known as activation energy. So to reach this state, they are getting some energy, this much energy they are getting, that is known as activation energy. If they reach to the activation energy or threshold energy, then they forms activated complex, then they convert it into product, undergoes a proper orientation, means undergoes collisions, undergoes effective collisions, they forms products. So that energy is known as a activation energy. That's why the activation energy is nothing but is the difference between the threshold energy minus the energy of reactants, okay. Now based on this activation energy means the reactants are converted into products, is known as a forward reaction activation energy. If the products are converted into reactants, that is called backward reaction. In the backward reaction activation energy or forward reaction activation energy, the difference between the forward reaction activation energy minus backward reaction activation energy is known as a enthalpy of the reaction, delta H. By using the delta H, we can identify easily whether the reaction is exothermic or endothermic. We can identify very easily. Let's see the graphical representation for exothermic reactions and endothermic reactions. Let's see, dear students. It's very, very important, this graphical representation. For example, this is the potential energy, dear students. These are the reactants energy of reactants. Okay, this is the energy of products. Okay, if the energy of reactants are more, then this is the called activated complex or ET. This is activated complex. Okay, to reach this activated complex, the energy means this is known as ET minus ER. Energy of reactants is known as activation energy of forward reaction. This is activation energy of forward reaction, EAF, activation energy of forward reaction, this energy. Now if you observe that this is the difference, this difference is the activation energy of backward reaction is nothing but the threshold energy minus energy of products. Threshold energy minus energy of products is nothing but activation energy of backward reaction. Now delta H, this is the difference, ma. Yeah. This is the ET. This difference is known as the difference between the energy of reactants and energy of product. The difference is known as a delta H. This is known as a delta H. The delta H is equals to activation energy of forward reaction minus activation energy of backward reaction. Already we know very well, dear student, this length is very high. This length. So the activation energy of backward reaction. Backward reaction is more than the activation energy of forward reaction. Then delta H is equals to negative. The delta H is equals to negative, then it is exothermic reactions. So for this exothermic reaction, graph will comes like that. For exothermic reactions, the energy of reactants is more than the energy of products, and the activation energy of forward reactions is less than the activation energy of backward reaction. Okay, if the reverse, this is the reaction coordinate, this is the activate energy of reactants, and it is the energy of products. Okay, then the difference is, this is difference is known as delta H. Okay, if the delta H is nothing but this is activation energy of forward and this is activation energy of backward. So here for endothermic reactions, the activation energy of forward reactions is more than the activation energy of backward reaction. Then delta H is equals to positive. Hence it is endothermic reactions. So very, very important in terms of activation energies, how to calculate delta H. The delta H is always nothing but enthalpy change of a chemical reaction, or enthalpy is nothing but is the energy difference between the Activation energy difference between the forward minus activation energy of a backward reaction. Okay, then the delta H is equals to positive, then it is a endothermic reaction. If delta H is negative, then it is called a exothermic reaction. That only I explained. So from this above two graphs, this is graph 1 and this is a graph 2. So activation energy of forward reaction is nothing but, already I said, activation energy of forward reaction is nothing but threshold energy minus energy of reactants. Activation energy of backward reaction is equals to threshold energy minus energy of products. Energy of products. Okay, these two. And the difference between the activation energy of forward reaction minus activation energy of backward reaction is known as enthalpy of the reaction. If the delta H is positive, endothermic reaction. Delta H is negative, then exothermic reactions. Okay, for exothermic reactions, the energy, activation energy of backward reactions is more than the activation energy of a forward reaction. Okay, according that you have to exist the graph. Next, for endothermic reactions, activation energy of forward reaction, activation energy forward reaction is very high, means the reactant molecules energy is very low, then automatically we have to use more temperature or more energy we need to use to reach the threshold energy state. That's why the reaction is endothermic reaction. Energy of forward is more than the activation energy of backward. Okay, then the reaction is endothermic. That is only. That's why the energy of reactants is more than the energy of products. Then the reaction is endothermic. The energy of reactants already have more energy than just small energy. If they gained, means they can easily reach to the transition state. Then they can easily convert it into products. Then that reaction is known as exothermic reactions. Okay, so this is very, very important, dear students. Activation energy graphical representations. Activation energy of forward reaction and backward reaction, based on that exothermic and endothermic reactions graphical representation. This is about temperature effect on the rate of the reaction. The most important fourth factor is effect of catalyst. Effect of a catalyst. Already we know that the catalysts are two types. One is positive catalyst, the second one is negative catalyst. The negative catalyst we are to consider as a reaction poison, means the negative catalyst decreases the activity of catalyst and the rate of reaction will be decreases, means backward rate favors to the backward reaction. Generally catalyst means always we have to consider positive catalyst only. The negative catalyst is present, then it is called as a poison. So let's see that how the catalyst is effect on the rate of the reaction. How the catalyst is effect on the rate of the reaction. It is very, very important factor, dear students, for board examination as well as in a objective examination also. Directly some theoretical points related catalyst effect they are asking in a NEET and a JEE examination. Okay, effect of catalyst on the rate of the reaction. Let's see, dear students, what is catalyst? A catalyst is nothing but a catalyst is a substance. Okay, catalyst is a substance which increases the rate of the reaction. Generally, what is the work of the catalyst, dear students? It increases the rate of the reaction, but the catalyst does not involve in a chemical reaction, means it does not undergo any chemical change, but it helps to increases the rate of the reaction. Such type of chemical substances are called as catalysts, or it is also called as positive catalyst. For example, MnO2, manganese dioxide, is used as a catalyst. MnO2 used as a catalyst. That MnO2 acts as a catalyst. It increases the rate of decomposition of potassium chlorate. Its name is KClO3, is known as potassium chlorate. Is decomposed to gives KCl, potassium chloride and oxygen. The catalyst is MnO2. Okay, so types of catalyst and importance of catalyst, characteristics of catalyst, all will discuss in a surface chemistry. Their catalysis reaction, types of catalysis reactions, characteristics of catalyst, all are present, a student. In that chapter, we again will discuss about detailed related to catalyst characteristics and all. Okay, for every chemical reactions, there are specific catalyst is required. If the catalyst, one specified catalyst will works on a specific reaction only. For example, the decomposition of KClO3 is converted into KCl plus 3O2. Here MnO2 only we are used as a catalyst. If any other substance you are used, then it does not act as a catalyst. That's why the catalyst work is a specific. Okay, for every reaction, one specific catalyst is required. And catalyst, what is the importance of catalyst? Generally here, what we need to discuss, what is the importance of catalyst, how the catalyst is affecting on the rate of the reaction. Generally, the catalyst increases the rate of the reaction without involving in a chemical reaction, without undergoes any chemical change or without involving in a chemical reaction, but it helps to increases the rate of reaction. Example for catalytic reactions, decomposition of potassium chlorate KClO3, in that reaction MnO2 acts as a catalyst, the manganese dioxide acts as a catalyst. Okay, now the function of catalyst we can explain how it affects on the rate of reaction. We can explain by using potential energy with respect to reaction coordinate graph, with respect to reaction coordinate graph. Okay, so the action of catalyst can be explained by using energy profile diagram. The energy profile diagram is drawn in between the potential energy with respect to reaction coordinates. Okay, for example, the catalyst reaction coordinate, potential energy with respect to reaction coordinate is present. This is the energy of reactants and this is the energy of products. Means reactants are converted into products. Energy of products means it indicates that energy of reactants is more than the energy of products. Means this graph represents the exothermic reaction. Okay, let it. So normally the catalyst is present, they have certain energy is present that I represented as. Now from this baseline, this first above the potential energy diagram, just you have to see this height is known as activation energy. While that much height is present, this is called as a threshold energy or activation energy. To reach this is called as a activated complex. Activated complex. To reach this state, required energy is known as a threshold energy. The minimum energy required for the processing of reactant molecules to reach the activated state is known as a threshold energy. Okay, in that threshold energy, height, activation energy is very high. EA is very high when catalyst is absent. Catalyst is absent. Catalyst is absent. Then rate activation energy is very high. Means rate of reaction is less. Or rate of reaction is less or slow or less. Okay. When catalyst is present, then what it will do, the catalyst main function is it decreases the activation energy, then decreases activation energy, So if the activation energy is decreased, means the reaction path will be changes. This is the presence of catalyst. If catalyst is present, then the activation energy is decreased, then the reaction path will be decreased. Then without catalyst means the activation energy is very high. To reach that state, the reactant molecules require more energy. That's why the rate of reaction is very slow. If the catalyst is present, means the height, the activated complex transition state barrier, energy state barrier will be decreases. Then the catalyst is present, the reaction path height will be decreases. Then the activation energy will be decreases. Then the reactant molecules easily to achieve the activated complex or easily to reach the threshold energy. Then the rate of reaction increases. Because ET threshold energy is low or lower. Threshold energy is lower, or activated complex transition state energy barrier is decreasing. The height of the activation energy is decreasing. Then the reactant molecule is easily converted into products. This is known as the effect of a catalyst. Effect of catalyst on rate of a reaction. Okay, dear students, very, very important for board examination. Compulsory they are asking in 3 marks question from this chapter. Yeah, now let's see, dear students, main very, very important points. These are important points for NEET and JEE exam. JEE as well as CET exam. Okay. Catalyst can alters, means catalyst can change. What kind of properties catalyst can be changed in a chemical reaction? The catalyst can alternate the rate of reaction. So obviously the catalyst is present, the rate of reaction will be increases by changing the reaction path or changing the reaction coordinates. Okay, reaction path will be changes. Path means the height of the activation energy will be decreased. Height of the activation energy will be decreased. Automatically activation energy will be decreased. So it changes the reaction path as well as it changes the activation energy and it changes the threshold energy. Threshold energy it will be changes and automatically rate constant also will changes. K. Rate of the reaction increases, the rate increases, then the K value also will be increases and the reaction path will be changes and activation energy will be decreases. If the catalyst is present, activation energy decreases and threshold energy also will be decreases. Okay, dear students. Next, catalyst does not alters, means catalyst cannot changes. What are the important characteristics in a chemical reaction? Catalyst cannot able to changes. Let's see that. The first one is energy of reactants and energy of products. Energy of reactants and energy of products cannot changes. Energy of product cannot be changed by the catalyst. Okay, and equilibrium constant also cannot changes. Already in first year only we discussed about this point. And catalyst does not changes the Gibbs free energy. Delta G value cannot changes and enthalpy of reaction, because the energy of reactants and energy of products not able to change. It means activation energy for forward reaction as well as activation energy of backward reactions. The difference cannot be changed, means delta H is fixed, enthalpy cannot be changed, as well as entropy change cannot changed by the catalyst, and internal energy also cannot be changed by the catalyst. These 6 points are very, very important. Catalyst does not able to changes by the energy of reactants and energy of products and equilibrium constant and Gibbs free energy change and enthalpy of reaction and entropy change of a reaction and internal energy of a reactions. Okay, dear students. Next, one more important point. Catalyst catalyzes only spontaneous reactions, means the catalyst catalyzes means spontaneous reactions only. The catalyst we are using, that is called positive catalyst only. For spontaneous reaction means irreversible reactions. Irreversible reactions all are called as spontaneous reactions. For spontaneous reactions, all Gibbs free energy change, delta G is negative. So the catalyst can catalyze the only for spontaneous reactions, but catalyst does not catalyze non-spontaneous reactions. This is very, very important. And in some of the reactions, the reaction rate is directly proportional to the concentration of catalyst. Okay, in some of the catalytic reactions, the concentration of reactants, concentration of catalyst or surface area of the catalyst increases, then the rate of reaction will be increases. Concentration of surface area increases, then the rate of the reaction will be increases. Okay, let's see one example, dear students. Acid catalyzed hydrolysis reaction of esters. So esters is on hydrolysis. Esters is on hydrolysis in acidic medium. Acidic medium means this is acid as a catalyst. Then to gives acid and alcohol. Okay, alcohol will forms. This is known as acidic medium. Acid catalyzed hydrolysis of esters to produce acid and alcohol. This reaction rate is directly proportional to the concentration of acid. catalyst, concentration of acid catalyst. If concentration of acid catalyst you are used more, then the hydrolyze will be takes place very fast, and the formation of acid and alcohol will be very fast. Then the rate of reaction will be more. So in some of the reactions, the rate of the reaction is directly proportional to concentration of a catalyst also, and the pressure of the gas, because the concentration is directly proportional to pressure and inversely proportional to volume. So the pressure of the gas and volume of the vessel and state of the substance, means physical state, either they are in gaseous state or in liquid state or in solid state, as well as pH of the solution or pH of the reactants can also be influence the rate of some reactions. Okay, these are the main important points, especially for NEET and JEE examination. Okay, dear students. Next, very important concept, that is rate law or rate expression or rate equation. The rate law or rate expression or rate equation. By using this rate law or rate expression or rate equation, next in the further classes we need to discuss about the what is the order of the reaction and the molecularity of the reaction. Based on the order of the reaction, the reactions are divided into zero order, first order, second order. Those integrated rate constants also we need to discuss the formulas and all, and half-life period. Then this chapter will be over. Okay, dear students. So the one more important concept is rate law or rate expression. Is very important. Definition is very important, but the equations, the rate expression or rate law equations are very important for objective examination. Okay, yeah. Then related applications also very important. The rate law or rate equation is also known as rate equation or rate expression. What it explains mainly? It explains mainly the relation between the rate of reaction and with respect to concentration of reactants. So the rate law rate equation mainly explains the relation between rate of reaction, and concentration of reactants. Okay, dear students. Now, what is the definition for rate law or rate expression? The rate law or rate expression or rate equation is nothing but is defined as the rate law or rate expression or rate equation is defined as the rate of reaction or rate of given reaction is termed as the molar concentration of reactants. So what they are saying, dear students, the rate, any chemical reaction, the rate law or rate expression or rate equation is defined as the rate of a certain reaction is directly proportional to the molar concentration of, is directly proportional to the product of the molar concentration of reactants. The product of the molar concentration of reactants with each reactant term is raised to the some power. It may or may not be equal to their stoichiometric coefficients of reactant species in a balanced chemical equation is known as a rate law or rate expression. Let's see once again. I'm explaining, dear students, what is rate law, rate expression or rate equation. It is defined as the for a certain chemical reaction, rate of reaction is directly proportional to the product of molar concentration of reactants, and each reactant is termed raised to the some power, and each reactant concentration term is raised to the some power, which may be or may not be equal to their stoichiometric coefficients of reactant species in a balanced chemical equation. For example, you have to consider one chemical reaction, small b, and small b are the stoichiometric coefficients of reactants A and B. Okay, so small a into a plus small b into b is converted into product. Okay, what are how many products it is forming? It's not a matter. What I said already, dear students, the rate expression or rate law is defined as the rate of the reaction is directly proportional to the product of molar concentration of reactants and each concentration term rise it to the some power. Some power means I am taking the powers, maybe the concentration of A is raised by the some power, it may be X, and concentration of B, it concentration is raised by the some power, it may be Y. So here the concentration terms raised by the some powers that I used as X and Y. This X and Y, the X is equal to A or not equal to A. Maybe equal or not equal sometimes. Or similarly, Y may be equal to B or not equal to B. Y not equal to B. Generally for elementary reactions, elementary reactions, X is equals to A and Y is equals to B. When the elementary reactions means in the elementary reactions, how many reactant molecules are present? The all reactant molecules are involved in the slow step, or involved in the transition state step, or involved in the rate determining step. That's why the X is equals to A as well as Y is equals to B. It will come for especially elementary reactions, and some of the reactions it may not be equal.6 why based on that statement, this rate law or rate equation or rate expression, it is obtained by the experimentally only, not theoretical way. So while seeing the chemical reaction, we can't able to write the rate equation or rate expression. Okay, so the rate expression or rate equation is determined experimental methods only. For every reaction, every chemical reaction, they are defined. So these reactions are all are first order reactions. These reactions all are second order reaction. These reactions all are third order and zero order, like they are defined. That's why the rate law or rate expression can be written by using experimental methods only, but not theoretical methods. That's why here X and Y, the power of A, concentration of A, reactant A, and power of reactant B is Y. Then the X plus Y, sum of the X plus Y value is called as order of a reaction. This order of reaction is determined by experimental method only, but not a theoretical method. Okay, already we know that the rate means here I written expression. So the rate is directly proportional to the product of the molar concentration of reactants, and each concentration term is raised by the some powers. That powers may be equal or may not be equal to their stoichiometric coefficients of reactants in a balanced chemical equation. So the proportionality, if you are removed, means we'll get one constant that is known as a rate constant, A power X into B power Y. Okay, then the rate, already we know that average rate or rate of reaction, already we know that the rate is nothing but decreasing the concentration of reactants at certain time period, at certain point, then instantaneous rate, it is called as instantaneous rate. It is different defined as the minus dr by dt is equals to k into A power X into concentration of B power Y. This type of representation or expression is known as differential rate equation. Now I'll give few examples, dear students. In that few examples, the powers on the reactants may be equal to their stoichiometric coefficients, or some equations not equal. So based on that examples, what we know that means we have to confirm that The rate expression or rate equation is not a theoretical method. It is a experimental method only. Okay, dear students, let's see examples. Examples, for example, formation of NaOCl. NaOCl. Okay, NaOCl. Nitric oxide react with chlorine. 2 moles of NO react with 1 mole of Cl2 forms 2 moles of NaOCl. Nitrogen hypochlorite. NaOCl. In that rate expression, the rate is equals to K into concentration of NO whole square into concentration of O2 power 1. Then here the order is 2 plus 1 is equals to 3, and here the concentration of NO, the power is raised by 2, it is equals to the stoichiometric coefficients of reactant NO, and chloride ion concentration power is also 1, it should be equal to the stoichiometric coefficients. Okay, the similarly hydrolysis of ester, this is the ester in basic medium. Then for this rate expression or rate law, rate is equals to, it depends on the concentration of both reactants and their powers are 1 only, and here the stoichiometric coefficients also 1, and then 1 and 1. Okay, if the powers, the rate in the rate expression, the powers on the concentration of reactants is equal to their stoichiometric coefficient, such type of reactions are called as elementary reactions. Okay, if not equal means those are called as non-elementary reactions. Decomposition of HI is converted into H2 and I2, and its rate is equals to K into HI whole square. In the same way, formation of HI, then the rate is equals to K into concentration of H2 power 1 and concentration of I2 power 1. And the same way decomposition of H2O2, then its rate is equals to, here the rate is equals to K into concentration of H2O2 power 1, and here also the stoichiometric coefficients 1 only present. Ester hydrolysis in acidic medium, then the rate, for example, this 5th example and 6th example, if you observe that in ester hydrolysis in acidic medium, then the rate expression, the rate is equals to only depends on the concentration of ester only, but not water. With respect to water, the power is 0 means it is 1. Concentration of H2O power 0 is nothing but 1 only. So the rate is equals to K into concentration of ester, means it is order is equals to 1. It indicates first order reaction. Now the ester hydrolysis in basic medium. This is in basic medium. The order, sum of the powers of the concentration of reactants is equals to 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. Means it is second order reaction. What is order and factors, all will discuss in the further class. Okay, dear students. So you have to remember ester hydrolysis in basic medium is second order reaction. Ester hydrolysis in acidic medium is first order reactions. But the molecular, how many molecules are involving in elementary step? 2 molecules are involving. But here 2 molecules, order is also 2. Sometimes the order is equals to molecularity. Sometimes order not equal to their molecularity. And one more example, chloroform reacts with chlorine to produce carbon tetrachloride and HCl. Its rate expression or rate constant is equals to concentration of chloroform, CHCl3, not here carbon tetrachloride written, printing mistake, CHCl3 whole to the power of 1. So the rate is equals to CHCl3 whole to the power of 1 and Cl2, concentration of Cl2 whole to the power of 1 by 2. But here the stoichiometric coefficient 1 is present, but here 1 by 2 is present. Its order is equals to 1 plus 1 by 2 is nothing but 3 by 2. 3 by 2 is nothing but 1.5. Okay, so like the 5th and 6th examples, the exponents of concentration terms not the same as their stoichiometric coefficients, are not equal to their stoichiometric coefficients in a balanced chemical equation. Based on that, we can explain, we can say that the rate expression or rate law or rate equation is not a theoretical, determined by, does not determined by theoretical way. It can be determined by experimental methods only, or it can be determined by experimental way only. Okay, dear students, that's why the rate expression or rate law or rate equation is experimental method only. Okay, let's go for next, the rate expression or rate law for forward reactions as well as reversible reactions as well as parallel reactions. We'll discuss, dear students. Now let's listen carefully, dear students. The rate law for reversible reactions, for example, H2 plus I2 is converted into 2HI. For this, the rate for forward reaction, the rate is equals to K into concentration of H2, the rate of forward reaction. Okay, K into concentration of H2 power 1 into concentration of I2 power 1. And for backward reaction, you have to consider, dear students, 2HI is converted into H2 plus I2. For this, the rate of backward reaction is equals to the K into concentration of HI whole to the power of 2. So for this, the overall reaction rate is equals to another new constant we have introduced, that is here it may be K dash, then it is equals to K1 into concentration of it may be K1 and it is equals to K2, then concentration of H2 into concentration of I2 minus K2 into concentration of HI whole square. So it indicates that the overall rate is nothing but rate of forward reaction minus rate of backward reaction for reversible reactions. For reversible reactions, the rate expression or rate law is equals to rate of forward reaction minus rate of backward reaction. Okay, is very, very important. Okay, dear students, let's see that for parallel reactions, how to write the rate expression or rate law. For parallel reaction means what it is, dear students? One reactant parallelly it is converted into different products. Then the rate constants K1 and K2, such type of reactions are called as a parallel reaction. The reactants in which substance the reacts are decomposed in more than one way to give different products, then such reactions are called as a parallel reactions. For example, actinium is converted into thorium as well as francium. Okay, then if actinium converted into thorium, its rate constant is K1, and another rate constant is actinium converted into francium, another rate constant is K2. So the rate of formation of thorium means one substance converted into, means it may be either decompose or react with another substance converted into different products, gives different products parallelly. Then such reactions are called as parallel reactions. So the rate of formation of thorium is equals to K1 is the rate constant. For the first reaction, rate constant is the second reaction, first product. This is the second product. Okay, so for this rate constant it is K2, another rate constant. Now if you observe that formation of thorium rate constant, the rate of formation of thorium is equals to K1 into concentration of actinium, and the second one, rate of formation of francium, is equals to K2 into concentration of actinium. The both case reactant is same. Then the overall rate is equals to K, both you have to add K1 plus K2 into concentration of actinium. Okay, dear students. Now the next class we'll discuss, already I said the rate expression. The rate is equals to K into concentration of reactants power some X, I said. Okay, then K is called as a rate constant. And X is called as a order of a reaction. So in the next class, we'll discuss about that what is rate constant and what are the important factors or characteristics of rate constant and what is order, and based on the order, how to the units for rate constant and the units for K, the rate constant units based on order, units for rate constant based on order of reaction, and the molecularity. And next we need to discuss about integrated rate equation or rate constant for zero order reactions and first order reactions and second order reaction. X is equals to 0 means zero order reaction. X is equals to 1 means the X values must should be 0, 1, 2, 3 or fractional values also, as well as a fractional values also. If 0 means zero order reaction, for zero order reaction, what are the units for K? And K formula we have to derive. And first order reaction, what are the units of K? And rate constant derivation, rate constant formula we need to derive. Especially zero and first order reactions are very, very important for us. And second order reaction as well as nth order reactions. And those all reactions, K derivations we need to discuss. And the half-life period for zero order and first order, and we need to discuss about examples for zero order reactions and examples for first order reactions, because the order of the reaction as well as rate law or rate expression is experimental method only. So we need to discuss and we need to remember particular examples for zero order as well as first order and second order reactions. Examples we need to discuss and we have to remember. Okay, there is no any other shortcut for the remembering of those examples. Those examples we must have to remember and we have to learn. In exam also directly they are asking among the following which is example for zero order, which is example for first order, which is examples for second order. So zero, first order and second order, these three we need to mainly concentrate in this chapter. Okay, and half-life periods. Okay, in the next class I will explain you those things, dear students. Thank you for everyone. Yeah. And please share and subscribe my channel.